Alright. What's up? My name is Keegan. We are starting tutorials today. That's kind of crazy. This is a lot earlier than I reckon I would have started tutorials, but my sister and a friend of mine are starting to use Premiere Pro, starting to edit and stuff. And so they've been asking me questions about, you know, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I'm like, well, why don't I just make these tutorial videos specifically for you guys? So this is for you, Rosie and Tanner. But hopefully these tutorials are also valid for some of you other dudes watching this. I just want to say, disclaimer, I am not a trained professional. Everything that I know is from YouTube already. So the way that you're learning is kind of how I learnt. I just searched up tutorials, and I'm sure there are better tutorials out there, there are better teachers, there are people who know more stuff out there. So, welcome to Premiere Pro tutorials. Tutorial 1, the basics. Basically this tutorial is literally just going to be for those who literally are just starting out with Premiere. So we're basically just going to cover literally just open up, what is everything, getting overwhelmed, smacked in the face, like how to start a new project, timeline sequences, importing files, and exporting, just the really basic stuff. Just to help you navigate. So without further ado, let us dive in. Okay, so firstly, you're going to need Premiere Pro on your computer. If you didn't know that, then you might need to take a few steps back. So let's open Premiere Pro. The first page you're going to be greeted with is this. This is kind of your home page. So you can see these are my recent project files. I can open projects. This is just the home page. We don't need to worry about this. Click that new project button. Now, name, you want to name your project something kind of relevant so that you can find it, so that it is manageable and kind of orderly and neat. So we're just going to call this Premiere Basics. We don't really need to muck around with anything else here unless you're a nerd and you really want to. But no, the only other thing here that you might want to use is the location, save location of where your files will save. So you can change it to the desktop if you want. I've just got it standard there. And yeah, click the OK button. Alright. This part is scary. I remember the first time I used Premiere Pro, I got a free trial for like a week, opened Premiere Pro, saw this, was like, nope, quit it, and just, I tried using it a bit, but it was super overwhelming, and I'm like, no, I'm not ready for this, and so I just didn't. But once you can navigate Premiere Pro, once you have an idea of where everything is, what everything is, and a bit of a process, then it isn't too bad. So once you know the basics, you're all good, and then you can slowly just start building off the basics, and this is a very powerful program, so there is a lot in here. So you're gonna be greeted with this. You have these 5 panels. Your screen may not look exactly the same as mine. I have changed it around a bit. I have preferenced it a bit to my liking, but I don't think it's too far off the default look. You have your bin, you have your timeline, you have your monitor, you have this panel thing, and you have your well, I'll just show you. Up the top, we have a number of different tabs, and they are just different default layouts to help speed up your editing process. I only use editing and color. I jump into color when I'm color grading, but I literally mainly use just editing. I hope my computer fan isn't just knocking out the audio here. Alright, so let's go over here. You're going to grab your clips that you have and you're going to import them. Over here, I have 3 clips. I have this one clip from San Francisco, this one from my new cinematic film called Nomad. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. Please support that. That'd be very nice. Which is a drone shot. And then we have this clip of me lighting a match. So these are our 3 clips today. Go ahead, you can either just drag your clips or your folder or whatever straight across into here, or double click in the import media to start, navigate to where your files are, import, boom. Alright, congratulations, you have successfully just imported your first clips. So I kind of have this open to about there, just so I can see the frame rate and I can see my clips. But I want to have kind of a big timeline. The bigger the timeline, the better my workflow. The more space I have to kind of muck around. Now, the first thing you want to do is make a new sequence. So you can press Command N. I don't do Windows. Just saying, I'm a Mac user. I just don't do Windows. So Command N. It's like Control N on a window. I don't know. Use Mac. We'll go find another tutorial. There's a few ways you can create a new sequence. If you go up to File, New Sequence there, or you can press Command N. And this will give you this kind of page. The easiest way of doing this is just drag your clip, drag it over, drop it. Boom. Sequence made. If you want to check your sequence settings, you click Sequence, Sequence Settings. Now this is showing me that my time base is 120 frames per second because this file is a 120 frames per second file. So it will make a sequence that matches the settings of your clip. So it's a full HD 1080p file. So the sequence is a full HD 1920 by 1080 sequence. I'm going to change that time base to 23.976 or 24 frames. I just go 23.976 because it makes me feel a little bit more fancy. Do whatever. I mean, that's more accurate to what the human eye sees, but I don't know if it makes heaps of difference. So up top here, we have our time code. This is going to kind of tell us where the slider is in the timeline. If that is not showing you time, right click on that, on these numbers here, and it will give you a drop down list of several other options of what it can show. So this can show you frames. So by here, there are 119 frames. I just keep it to the time code. Helps me navigate a bit. Now, if you want to zoom in and out, the minus button and the plus button will zoom your timeline in and your timeline out. And there you have it. You have a clip. All right, so let's find what part of the clip that I want to keep. So I want to go, I'm just going to drag it along. Let's go about there. Now, there are several ways of cutting to this point. You can simply drag the end, drag it all the way there. If you don't want to do that, you can cut the clip with this razor tool here. Click that, and then boom. Click where you want to cut it. You can cut it there too if you want. Go back, hit the selection tool, and this is just going to be your main drag around. These tools are your basic tools on everything. There's pen tools, there's hand tools, you can literally just click it, muck around with it, see what you can do. At this point, you want to just get an idea of what does what. And so yeah, these are your main tools. So we're going to delete this guy, we're going to delete that, and we have our main kind of clip there. And let's cut you just as we start moving there. So I'm just going to drag him back, snaps the playhead, move him up front. Okay, my computer's a little laggy at the moment. I don't think it likes screen recording in Premiere Pro at the same time. Now you have your effects up here. I have them here. Look around for them. They might be in a little panel. If you can't find it, go to Window, click Effects there, and it will pop up somewhere. Now effects are cool because this is where all the effects are kept. Funnily enough, right? It kind of makes sense. So video effects, we got blur and sharpen, we have distort. There's a lot of cool kind of effects in here that you can do some funky stuff with. You got some audio effects too. You got some video transitions, which are very nice to use as well. So if we just grab, let's just grab a cross dissolve, and we'll just drop that here. So then you can also just drag it in and out to just how long you want. Simpler way of doing that is go right to the end to where this little, your cursor changes to this, right click, apply default transition, and then you can change it. So our clip at the moment now looks like this. Fade in, fade out. Very nice, pretty quick. Now, up to the left here, you have your effect controls. This is where you control all the effects. From here, you can grab the opacity of the clip, go up and down, you can change the blend mode, you have your position, right? You can change the position of where everything is. And this is where you animate. Now we'll get into animation in another tutorial. We won't go into that now. Scale, you can, like, so if we want to position this better, scale in, move it across, go however you want, right? Rotation, anchor point, enter, just like everything. So this is your video, this is where your effects will be. So if we let's grab a video effect. Let's grab, for example, Gaussian blur or Gaussian blur, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know, I've heard some weird pronunciations of that. Now, you grab it, you drop it on your clip, and the effect is up here in your effects controls, right? So this is where everything happens. Now, we want to grab the blurriness and just blur that up, okay? So now we have a blurry clip. See, it comes along the edges here, and it kind of looks funky, so repeat edge pixels fixes it up. Now we just have a blurry clip. If you want to put an effect on, and then you want to kind of take it off, you can simply grab your clip here, make sure the effect controls tab is highlighted, delete. Deletes Gaussian blur, gone. Or, see this little effects button there, click it, and it turns it on and off. This applies for any effect that you have on your video. Alright, so let's get rid of that. So now we have one clip, right? But we have more clips in here. So let's grab this fire clip. Now, if you double click it, it opens up in this separate monitor over here. Now, this is monitoring the source. So this monitor shows what is on the timeline, whereas this monitor here will show straight from the file. So I'm going to go through. I don't want this just waiting of black. I'm just going to wait till there's action, and I want to select that part, right? So, okay, I want it from there. Click I. That's in. Or you click this button here, mark in. All right, so that's your in point. Select there, and let's go out there. So we can click this button, or you can click O on your keyboard, and that will select your in and out point. Now, this part of your video is selected. Now you can simply just drag the whole thing over like that, and boom. Now you have your selected part in your timeline. Or, if you just want the video, or just the audio, see this little button here? If you click that, and then drag it across, now just the video is dragged across. So that is a neat little trick that I like. Actually, let's just grab the whole thing. Now this clip has been shot at 120 frames per second, which means I can slow it down a lot. And because it's fire looks cool when it's slowed down. So let's slow it down. If you right click on your clip, scroll down, look for speed and duration. This will bring up your speed and duration. So this is how you can speed up your clip. 200%. Right? Now our clip is 2 times as fast. Right? Go back to speed and duration. So because I shot this in 120 frames per second, and we're in a 24 frames per second timeline, we can slow this down to 20% without getting any choppiness. So let's do that now. 20%. Now we watch back, play back smoothly. Look at that. Yummy. Alright, now I want to cut that there. So I'm going to just drag that back. Let's go back in. Another useful tip. Let me tell you. Premiere Pro, keyboard shortcuts, man. They fix your life. They speed up your editing workflow. Like, oh my goodness. So I just use keyboard shortcuts. So it's actually kind of a challenge for me to use Premiere Pro without it. Now, if you press down, this will cause the playhead to literally go up and down like that. And so up will go to the left, down will go to the right. And then the left and right here will move individual frames. So this is very useful. So if I click down, that's going to take me to the end of my clip. If I click up, that's going to take me to the start of my clip. And so that's really useful for jumping exactly to where you want to go. Now, I want to start that, say, right there. So let's just drag that in. We're going to move you right across. Snap there. With this transition, which is really cool, because it fades to black, and this is a black clip. So you go through it quick, right? And it kind of, you can tell exactly what happens, but when you play back smoothly, it's kind of this really smooth transition, which was mostly an accident, but I'm going to play it off like it wasn't an accident. I 100% meant to do that. Okay, so now we have a slow-mo clip there, and then it's going to cut. And last, we have a drone clip. Now, I shot this at 4K. So 4K is a much bigger, sharper, crisper file size than 1080p. Once again, in point, out point. Let's grab that. and we're going to drag this guy in there. Okay, there was no audio recorded with the drone, so this is very zoomed in. This is a lot more zoomed in than the clip on the right, as you can see. The reason for that is because a 4K file is that big, whereas a full HD file is that big. A 4K file means it's recording 3860 by 2160 pixels or something like that, whereas full HD is, or 1080p is 1920 by 1080 pixels, right? So there are a lot more pixels being recorded and put into this 4K footage, which means because there are more, it's a bigger file size, right? And so you can have a bigger image without losing quality. So you put this bigger image into a 1920 by 1080 sequence here. So that footage is that big, but we're only seeing that much of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Effect, grab that scale, and drag you right down to 50. Right? And there we go. Now it fits. So there we go. Now, my computer struggles to muck around with 4K footage especially when I put video effects on it. So see this little button here? I'm going to click half or even quarter if you need. And what this does is it selects your playback resolution. So now it's only going to play back in half the resolution than it should be. So it's lower quality playback, but it's easier for your computer to process. Like it fixes a lot. So if you're lagging, just drag this down to a quarter, to 1/8, to however low you need. So now I play it back. It's a lot blurrier, a lot less high quality. It's not actually lowering your... Well, that's a fat rip. I just realized that my camera actually overheated at the 27-minute mark of recording. So I have to actually go back and re-record some stuff. So hopefully this doesn't overlap. So you click this playback button and it's going to lower the playback resolution of the monitor so that your computer can play it back easier. So now that's lower quality, but it's going to play back smoother. So we have a bit of scale, so we can scale up to 100 without actually losing quality, because video file sizes and stuff is kind of complicated. But now we're at 100%, that is actually showing 1920 by 1080 pixels that's shot, which can kind of move around in there. So you're not actually losing quality by doing this. So we're going to scale this to like 70. We're going to lower it. Let's just kind of scale it in a bit. Now that is not playing back smoothly. We're going to fix that by clicking in, go to the first frame of your video, which is there, in point, out point, I and O, or you can use these buttons here, which is mark in, mark out. And now we have this kind of clip selected in our in and out points. So we're going to go to sequence, render into out, click that, or you can click Command R. And that is going to render just that point there. Now, you see this is a green bar, so it will play back smoothly because essentially, as I believe, what it does is it creates a file of what we have here. So it's a separate file, and now it's just playing that file back. So now we play back smoothly. That looks good. I like that. Very smooth shot. I'm going to right click that, clear in and out, because it just kind of looks neater without it. If we play back our entire sequence, go through, boom, hard cut to a drone shot, and then hard cut there. Okay, let's just right click there, apply default transition. Might drag you out just a little bit longer. And there you go. Now you see that has become a yellow bar because this is part of the rendered footage, but this cross-dissolve wasn't in that rendered file. So it's playing that off just straight back through Premiere. Nice, I like that. Okay, so now you're ready to export. You've got your clips, you've got everything lined up. You can click File, head down to Export Media. Or you can press Command M, which I think is Control M on a Windows. I'm just telling you, keyboard shortcuts, they're going to save your life. Just learn them. Now this is going to take you to this Export Settings tab. Now there's not heaps you have to worry about here. You have your presets. There's all these presets that are already there for you. Just grab the high bitrate. That's a solid, just a simple, decent export setting. That's mostly what I just use for those little Instagram clips that I post. So high bitrate is good. It's going to give you decent file size, decent quality. The next thing you gotta worry about is click this output name, the blue thing there. It's gonna open this window, save as Premiere Basics. I'm gonna save that to my desktop so it's easy to find. Make sure you do this. This is important. Otherwise, you can't find your file, and it's very annoying. The amount of times that I have exported files without naming them or telling them where to go, and I just can't find them. Can you shut up? I'm trying to just make a tutorial here, dude. Has been too many times. I've done that too many times. So it's just annoying because you don't lose your file. You can just re-export it, but it's just annoying. So make sure you do that. Scrolling through this, you don't need to know heaps about this at the moment, but it is good to learn about later on. Don't need to worry too much about that. You can check these two if you need. That's going to give you a little bit high quality, just not high quality, just an easier, faster export time. And this is your estimated file size, 13 megabytes. Nice. Export. Once that blue bar is done, your file should be done. Boom. Gone. Swipe across, find it there, desktop. Double click that, open it, watch it through, make sure it's what we want. Fade in San Fran, striking a match. And then we got this drone shot. Now, none of these clips have been color graded. Normally, I will do just a light color grade over them and stuff. Heavy color grade if I'm doing a big project. But I won't get into that now. Congratulations, you have successfully just exported your first file. You imported your clips, you chucked it into the timeline, you ordered it how you wanted, you place whatever effects, you positioned it how you needed, do whatever transitions you got, and then export it, and now you have all those clips in one file. Your first edit. Well done. Now there's so much more to Premiere Pro than this. There are so many things you can do, so many things that we should be doing better. My way isn't necessarily the right way. I don't know if it's the wrong way. It could be the wrong way. I mean, I don't know, tell me. But yeah, I just encourage you to muck around with this. Keep editing. What I did was, I had all these parkour clips and stuff for my Instagram, and I would just edit in this, and just edit, and just spit out these edits like once every 3 days and chuck it on Instagram. As I was editing all the time, and that's just how I got my practice, and without practice, you're not going to get better at this. So you just got to practice and keep going. But there are so many good effects, so many good transitions, so many good everything in there. So have a look through, get accustomed to it, see how it all works, watch more tutorials, and don't stop creating. You stop creating, and then you stop learning, and then it's just... So just keep going, keep pushing, keep chipping away at it, and you just slowly get better. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully this has helped you. If you want to stay around for some more tutorials, I will be dropping some soon. I'm going to start creating more tutorials when I have time and stuff. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you know when I'm posting video, tutorials, cinematic stuff, whatever. Drop a comment below, tell me how I went for my first tutorial. I'm probably going to look back at this in like 2 years, maybe not even that far, and just be like, geez, that was so bad, and I could do this way better, and I might just recreate this in the future so much better. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Ciao. Oh, jeez, that was a lot of talking.